Right, I think we've got most of the people in the room now, so let's look to make a start. So good afternoon, welcome to everyone. Over the next hour, we're going to take a look at a Microsoft product, Microsoft Fabric. Not going to be a product demo, but it's more going to be a shift as to how charities run their analytics. If you're investing in products like Power BI, Azure Synapse, Data Warehouse, or Data Lake, this is designed to show you where those investments go next and how Fabric brings all of those products together in one simple, fully governed, AI-ready foundation. So the aim of today is really to leave you with three things: a clear view of why Fabric is the right product, a working model of how it fits all of those pieces I've just mentioned previously together, and how you can migrate your data into this particular tool. So before we get started, let me just dive in with a little bit of housekeeping. So I can confirm that after today, we're going to share all of the slides with everybody, and there will be a recording which will also upload to our YouTube. We've got an hour session today to run through the product. And as I say, I'm going to set the scene in relation to the charity sector. And then we've got myself and my colleague Rene, who's one of our consultants here, who actually runs our data and analytics team. He's going to be taking you through Microsoft Fabric. So just some statistics to start with. These are from the Charity Commission, and there are over 185,000 registered charities currently. There's over 6.5 million volunteers, and from a revenue perspective, it's about £98 billion income. And probably one of the most key statistics there is the trust in the charity sector at the moment is around about 57%. So before we actually talk about Microsoft Fabric, what I want to do is I want to just have a little look at the charity sector and see where we are. So at the moment, there's a huge increase in demand for the services that are being asked for by charities. As always, you're all going to be aware that there is a financial squeeze. Governance seems to just expand on a daily basis, and one of the things that's driving this are things like AI and automation of products and services. So when we look into Microsoft Fabric, well, how does that help charities? Well, a lot of the SMB charities that I work with, some of the issues and challenges that we see that they have are sort of separated silos of data in different locations, and it makes it very, very difficult for them to report on what they deliver with the funding that they get, because they might have an HR system, a finance system, a CRM system, and all these data sit in different silos, and it makes reporting very, very difficult. And then we've also got the hot topic of AI. Everybody wants to use and take advantage of AI, where they can automate workflow process and provide data and insights and reporting. So this platform that we're going to explain to you today will help you to consolidate your data, secure, govern your data, and also allow you to use AI across multiple platforms. So that's given you a little overview as to where we're at in relation to the charity sector. And I'm going to hand over to my colleague Rene now, who's going to walk you through Microsoft Fabric.
Thank you, Steve. Let me share the presentation from my side. Can you see my screen? Is it clear? Perfect. So let's talk more about Fabric. Steve has mentioned a couple of points that why we need Microsoft Fabric. and what's the purpose of it. But in brief, what is Fabric? It's a end-to-end data platform where you can have all the transformation of the data, where you can get data from multiple sources, where you can do quality checks on your data to have better quality for the AI later on and the analytics. And plus, at the end, you will have storage where you can store your data. And at the end, you will have the result on Power BI, which will be included in Fabric. So why now we are talking about Microsoft Fabric and about such a tool? Actually, it's related to four forces that let us go to this approach. The first one is the complexity. So most of the teams are getting data from, are working maybe together and extracting data from multiple sources. Maybe if you have, let's say Dynamics for CRM, you have SAP for an ERP system, you have Excel files, and on a monthly basis or weekly, you need to have reports or to generate insights. So instead of doing all of that, you can use Microsoft Fabric to consolidate all this data and have it into one system and one storage, and it will be automated. So no need to go and do it manually every time. And you know now the complexity of the analytics. You have data from multiple sources, then you need to do the same again and again and again, and maybe do some changes. But basically, now you have one tool that do everything for you. No need to go to multiple tools. Just open Microsoft Fabric. You can do it, and that's it. And the most important thing is that if you have your user on Microsoft, then you will use the same user. No need to create different users for the security-wise or access level. Everything is in one place. And the second, as we mentioned, the silos, data silos. So you might be working on one of the report, on one data. Your colleague might as well working with the same data. You might end up having two separate numbers in your report because maybe missing a condition, missing something in the formula, all of that. So if you have all your data in one place in Fabric, then we can share this data with everyone who should have access to this specific data. In this case, you will trust your data more because it's already the calculation already has been done, the transformation already has been done, all the conditions, filters, everything, and now you can both or all you and all your colleagues can get the same data, the same values. No need to worry about that. The third one is the AI pressure. Now we all know that everyone needs to use AI. But if you start using AI without a good data quality, you will not have the result that you should have. If you start using AI in your company data without the security and the access role and user access role, also it will be dangerous to use this data because some of the employees might get access to data they shouldn't have access to, or they could share your data with a third party, which also can be critical for the company or for the charities and everyone. So after that, of course, we have the governance to control the security, the compliance, the lineage. So this can no longer be bolted into one tool. And what you can do, you can govern all your data. Who has access to your data? Is it compliant or not? Everything can be done in Microsoft Fabric as well. So no need to get a third-party tool and then do the governance on your data. It's already in Microsoft Fabric with Microsoft Purview to do the same. So here's the core change. In the old world, you assemble the stack, data from here, data from Excel, a database, someone shared with on OneDrive, for example, or on Teams. You get data from a website. So all of this, and then maybe the BI or the report come on top. Okay. So what we do in Microsoft Fabric, it's not like this, because we get the data from multiple sources, but as a company, as a charity. So you get all the data, you put it in one storage. Okay. Take it, for example, as if you have OneDrive, for example, it's a storage. So you have all your data in OneLake, which is the storage for Microsoft Fabric, and the employees in the company or the business can get the data from the storage and do the analytics, ask question, and you will receive the answer using Microsoft Copilot. And of course, everything is based on the security level, who has access to which data. That is also important. So OneLake is a shared storage. Okay, no one has access to it until we give them access to the right data. So it's not an open storage for all the company that can access all the data. No, it's specific. We decide who has access to what and which department has access to which data, all of this. Okay, so after that, the workload. So in the for the workload, the workload are integrated out of the box. So what we have in Microsoft Fabric, we have data movement. You can get data, as we mentioned, from multiple systems, and you are putting load on Microsoft Fabric, for example. And after that, it will be in the morning, we do the transformation. After that, we run AI training, for example, machine learning models, all of this, so we can get the final result. When we have the final result, we store it in Fabric. And then what we do, of course, there is the Power BI report where the business users will access to get the insights. So the load is not putting all the time on my Microsoft Fabric. It's separated. One time you can use it for data engineering, another hour you can use it for the scientists, and during the day, of course, it will be for the users to actually check the insights, check the reports, and all of this stuff. So here's the whole platform in one slide. It includes data factory. So for the data factory, it's the movement of the data, how you can get data from sources, how you can do transformation, how you can merge two sources together to aggregate the data. For example, if you have different CRM, for example, or different companies, and you want to aggregate the data together, so the executives can have an overview. Then this all can be done using Data Factory. The Lakehouse is where the data engineers and the data scientists will start working to generate more insights and to have the machine learning models and all of this. The warehouse is the final layer of the storage, the final layer where the users, where the business, or let's take the data analytics, for example, where the data analytics can access this warehouse and extract the data so they can generate analysis and they can generate insights, Power BI reports for the business, and take decisions from there. Real time, where you can access data in a real time for streaming. Let's say if you have to take action immediately on a specific threshold. So here you can put it on the real-time data, where it will be streaming all the time, syncing the data. And in this case, you will get alerted. For example, it can be an alert by email, or it can be an alert on Teams. And also, it's integrated with Power Automate, where you can build flows to take different actions more than just Teams message or just an email as a notification. Also, you can take action and take it more, take actions more. So, and after that, of course, will come Power BI, where it will show you all the analytics, all the reports and dashboards, and yes. So, and after that, but we didn't add this part in the presentation because it's still under preview. But there's something called ontology, where you can create a model, but this model will be specific for your business, where it will be used in Copilot to better answer your question based on your business, where you can give synonyms for your tables and columns, where you can give description about the tables. So whenever you ask, or multiple users are asking the same model, but in a different way, or different synonyms for words. For example, let's take employee. So some users will say employee, some will say let's say person, resource. So all of this can be redefined in the ontology, so the AI can better answer your question, and it will be specific for your business. And on top of all of this, you have the OneLake. The OneLake is the storage. It's one shared between all the tenants, where you can store all kind of data, structured data, like the data coming from a system where you export to Excel, for example. This is what we call structured data. Also, you can store unstructured data like CSV files, or something that you extract, for example, from Facebook, from Meta, when you do a campaign. And also it can store unstructured data like PDF files, videos, images, all of this. So also the data scientist can use those for to generate and to train the machine learning if you have any. So, as I mentioned, OneLake is the storage, and OneLake, I would say it's the heart of the whole thing. So every Fabric tenant gets exactly one OneLake. So you cannot get multiple OneLake. You don't build it; it's just there. So you don't need to create a subscription or anything. Whenever you take Fabric, one Fabric or two, it will be there. It's like the OneDrive. So when you get Microsoft 365 tenant, you will get OneDrive with it, and the same with OneLake. When you take Fabric, you will have OneLake with it. Your data lands there, and it will be in Parquet format, which is the Parquet file is built for the analytics, which means that you are not making any new copy of the tool. You are not making any copy of your data. It's already there. And if data is already, for example, if you are already using Azure Data Lake, you know what the Parquet file usually means. And also other competitors also have the same format, like Amazon and Google. So what we can do with this, instead of having multiple data, and if you want to use it in separate, let's say, for separate users, like data engineer, they are reading it and they want to store it in a lakehouse or anything, you can just create a shortcut of it. So no need to duplicate the data. You can just create a shortcut, give the user access to it, and they can use the shortcut instead of the file. So the data will not be duplicated. No need to worry about the storage in this case. And how we can share the data? It's simple, other than the shortcut. And you can share it with a specific user, but what we prefer is to share it with a security group. So if you have security group containing multiple users, we can share it with a security group with specific access. This security group, for example, is for the data engineers. They can read the data, they can extract it, while others can delete, remove it, or such thing. And this is where you can benefit from the access on your data. So instead of worrying about who has access to my data, how can I assure that the right user has access to? It's simple. If you have the security groups, whenever you add someone to the security group, it will be automatically grant them access to Fabric or to a specific lakehouse or specific feature in Microsoft Fabric. And when you remove them from the security group, the access will be automatically removed. So let's follow a typical journey about how we can use Microsoft Fabric. At the beginning, of course, we have Microsoft Fabric. What we need to do is to ingest the data. So we need to get the data from the sources and put them into Microsoft Fabric. This is the first step that we do. So we take the data and we store it in Microsoft Fabric. So after that, the data engineers and the data scientists will go to the lakehouse where the data is stored, and they will start doing transformation. They will start cleaning the data. Like, if, for example, if you have data missing, they will aggregate it or merge this data with different data. So you can fill in those data. They can they can standardize the naming of the fields. They can standardize the data inside your tables. They can do whatever they want to do with the data to meet what the business need. And after that, they will store the data in a warehouse where the data analytics can read the data in a proper way, where it's also the naming of the table, the naming of the columns, of the field. They are all user-friendly. So when the user wants to build a Power BI report, they can go read the data from the warehouse, and they can totally understand what each table and each field means, so they can build the right Power BI report. And on top of that, of course, will come the Copilot, where you can chat with your data. So whatever data you have in Fabric, you can chat with. Ask question, ask Copilot to create a report on Power BI. It will create to do changes to the existing report. Also, it can be done. So no need to worry about the reports taking too much time to be built, because now you have all your data in Microsoft Fabric. All you need to do is to go to Copilot and use it to create your report, to create new KPIs, to create visuals, pages in your Power BI report. So all of this will take you a couple of minutes instead of waiting for the developer to build or rebuild the report, and it might take days to do that. So now it's very simple. Just go and you can create your own report. And of course, and to build or to use Copilot to build your reports and visuals, as you mentioned earlier, it's very important to have two things. The first one is the data quality, because if your data quality is not well, then the AI will fail and will give you a bad result. And the second one is the access. So if, let's say, I have access to data I shouldn't have access to, and I start using Copilot or any AI tool, then I will have access to data that I shouldn't have access to. And this is what Microsoft Fabric can do, is to control who has access to what, even in the same tables in the lakehouse or warehouse, even in the same Power BI report or semantic model. We can define every user what data they can access. So if someone have access to data for a specific department, we can define that in the same report, and a different user can have access to the same data, same report, but different department. So as you mentioned, the data factory will ingest data into your into Fabric. It has more than 100 already predefined connectors that can connect to SAP, to SQL Server, Excel files, SharePoint, Dynamics, all of this. It's already there, and it can be done with low code. No need to have skills for coding or anything. Those connectors are already available. But still, if you have data that you cannot access it using those connectors, you can use notebooks to write Python script and to do whatever you want to extract data from wherever you want, and you can get those data. So after that, we mentioned that in the lakehouse, the engineers will start working on the data and start transforming this data, cleaning this data. And in the data warehouse, you will have the cleaned data, the final layer of the data, where you can use it, where the business can use it for the self-service, where they can create their own report. Plus, they can use Copilot on top of it, so they can generate report. And the real-time intelligence, where you can trigger actions based on a threshold that you can put, and it will be fully automated. And after that, of course, the Power BI will present all the reports, all the insights, all dashboards, KPIs, everything, so you can take a better decision from your data. So regarding the governance in Fabric, it's not a separate product. They are, let's say, they are connected but not separate, because if you get Fabric, you will get reports from Microsoft Purview to govern who has access to your data, who has access to your Power BI reports, to the items. And actually, Purview gives you one place to catalog, to classify, to govern your Fabric data. If you have, and also the sensitivity labels also applies in Fabric. So I will give here an example. If you have a Power BI report, let's say, and some of the users have access to it, what you can do, if they left the company, of course you can remove the access. But if they have actually the PBIX file, which is the main file of the Power BI, and they can open it on their personal laptop, for example, here the sensitivity label will work, and it will stop them from accessing any report from outside their laptop and even if they didn't sign in with their username and password from your organization, they will not be able to open the report. So here you are protecting your data, and you are not allowing the people to access the reports from outside your organization. And this is very important, because someone can download the file if they have access. They will put it on their own laptop, their personal laptop, for example, and they will take the data with them. And this can be done using purview sensitive labels. And with purview, what you can also do, of course, you can check who has access to which report, as I mentioned. But what you can do is to audit who actually created a Power BI report, who actually updated the Power BI reports, who downloaded the files. So you can track everything, and this is also very helpful. So you can track if someone shouldn't be downloading the Power BI files, and they did on their personal laptop or different devices. So you can also track all of this. And yeah. So how we work, actually, let's say if we have if we need to do a migration, if you already have Power BI reports, or you have a BI tool that you are currently working on, or if you have a data warehouse somewhere, how we do. Usually it's a 5-stage. The first, we start assessing. So in the assessment, we build a real inventory of your sources, workload, dependencies, and we check the team skills and how they are using the reports, who is building the data warehouse or doing the transformation of the data, how they are doing it. So we do a full assessment to check how you are currently generating your BI reports. And after that, we start putting the priority. And because, we don't deliver all the report in the beginning at once, but what we do, we start putting priority. Let's say for the executive, they need a couple of reports. We start with those, so we don't wait until the project ends, and then you will have the final result and the reports. No, we start with the priority, and then we start moving forward. And what we do to modernize, this is the mindset shift where you are redesigning for OneLake and the shared storage, no lifting your old architecture across and change. So we don't migrate as is. It's not as is, because in Fabric it's more modernized. So it's better to benefit from all the features and not keep it as is. So we need to modernize it, especially with the AI currently. And after that, we start migrating the data and get the Power BI reports and have it ready for you, for the business to start working on. And also we start doing the optimization. So if we take, for example, the cost, when you are live, we start checking the cost of how much you are using Microsoft Fabric, so we can check if we can downscale the Fabric capacity, so you can so the cost will be less for the Fabric capacity. So currently, everyone wants to use Copilot, and the honest truth is Copilot is one of the good foundation beneath Fabric, because you can use it in a way that you are actually asking your data. Your data is not going, let's say, for a third party and not going outside your organization. And here we have 6 prerequisites to start using Copilot. First is the governed data. So in the governed data, where AI must draw from trust and permissioned sources, or it will be confidently misled. Okay. The second one is the semantic models. The semantic model is the model where all your all the measures or the calculations or the relation between the tables is placed. And this is where Copilot can link your data together. And as I mentioned, also next to the semantic model, we will have the ontology model, which is also will be better for the Copilot. And after that, we have the metadata. So in the data, the rich metadata is also where you have clear names and description for your tables and columns. So whenever a user needs to ask anything, it will be clear, and everything will be answered based on what he asked. And after that, the data quality, and the data should be completed. There should be a minimal nulls or blank values inside your data. Your data should be consistent. And if you have, for example, country columns in multiple systems, when you merge them together, sometimes you see, for example, for the country, you see UK in a different one. In different row, you will see United Kingdom. So in this case, if you don't have a consistent data, also the AI might be confused. And we just give an example for the country, but imagine how much you will have other than that. The security, which is also important. So no one can access any data that they shouldn't have access to. So, in summary, this is Fabric and what it can do. So simply, it's a unified storage, one place where you have all your data. No need to extract your data from multiple systems anymore. You will have your data in one place. Everything is integrated, and the governance of your data is already available and already inside Fabric. No need for multiple tools or multiple SaaS solutions to get your insights. Everything is in one place, from getting the data, transforming the data, fixing your data quality, the security of your data, building Power BI reports, asking Copilot about your data, and all of this is in just one tool, which is Microsoft Fabric. So no need to have multiple systems. OneLake is the foundation. It's one storage for all your data, one copy. Your data will not be duplicated. Everything will be just in Fabric. And I think with that, I will hand it over to Steve.
Brilliant. Thank you, Rene. Very insightful. Just take control of the slides. Perfect. Thank you. So just a little bit about us as an organization. So Exquitech, we are a Microsoft partner. As you can see, we're a global partner. We're actually one of the most certified Microsoft partners globally. Microsoft are currently promoting their frontier technology or solution. We are one of probably about 50 partners that have this accreditation. And when you think that the Microsoft partner ecosystem is about 500,000 organizations, that's quite impressive. We're also one of the first organizations to obtain the Microsoft AI and data accreditation. That was a couple of years ago now. So as an organization, what we do is we have an advisory service where we can help and support organizations looking at Microsoft technology. We have a deployment service that deploys Microsoft technologies end to end. So every single Microsoft solution that is available, we have a team. So, for example, Rene has been on the call today. He heads up a team that is purely responsible for data and Microsoft Fabric. We have teams that are responsible for Microsoft Copilot. We have teams that are responsible for AI Foundry, and I can go through the whole Microsoft stack, and we've got individual specialists who are responsible for each of those sections. We've also got a very large raft of charitable organisations that we work with, through to very well-known names like The Big Issue, all the way through to some smaller, more local charities of 5 to 10 users. So we have a real spread of products and services. Now, Renee, I'm just going to dive into the question and answers. There was a question from Simon to say, I have answered it, but it's probably good to get your feedback on this as well, that if the data is transferred into a data lake, who owns the data once Fabric has enhanced it? And what controls are there to ensure that any enhancements are correct in line with the company's or the charity's governance policies?
Okay, checking it now. And yeah, you own the data. So it's in your tenant. You are owning the data. It will be remaining for you.
Perfect.
So,
thank you.
Yeah.
I've got a few questions from Chloe. The first one is, what does data transformation look like in a data factory? Is it low code, no code? Are there any options to use SQL or Python?
Yes, you have all the options actually. I will try to share my screen now. Maybe it will be better. But yeah, so if you have used Power BI and you have used the transform query, this is also part of Microsoft Fabric. You can use the transformation in this way, or you can use SQL server scripts to do the transformation. You can use R script, you can use Python. All of this can be done using notebooks and Spark. So.
Perfect. We've also got next question from Chloe is, does purview / governance include data retention periods?
We define the retention period to remove the data or because it depends on the data. So some data you need to keep it for, let's say, 7 days. Some data you will keep it for a year, 3 years. So we can define this.
Okay, and that's all done via purview?
The retention not in purview, it's in Fabric itself.
In Fabric, okay. So you would take each individual data set and you'd allocate the retention period for each data set within the product?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And the final question from Chloe is, one of your slides mentioned role-based low-level security. Can you do a group-based low-level security?
Yes, you can. So, this is why I mentioned also the security group. So in the row-level security, it's like if you have a table of, let's say, employees, okay, and each employee can have access to their own data or to the people reporting to them. So in this case, you can set a row-level security on this user themselves, or you can also add, let's say, if you have departments, and then you can say that I want this row-level security to be based on the department, and it will take it. I don't know if I answered your question. If not, I'm happy to answer it again.
Sure. So in relation to this follow-up message from Chloe, so they can define a retention period for a data set, and it's asking, will it automatically be deleted when required? So I'm presuming that you can actually set the action to happen with that data set once you've set out the period. So let's say I have data that I'm keeping for 7 years. after that 7 years, we can clarify what the action should be, whether or not it's deleted, whether it's put in archive.
Correct.
Is that correct, Renee?
Yes, this is correct.
Okay.
So the retention, we can define when it will be deleted, and it will be automatically deleted based on the pipeline that we run. And yeah, and also if you want to delete a specific data for a specific user, for example, also it can be done.
Okay. And then the final part of the question was, can we define low-level retention period based on a data field?
Yes. Let's say for the termination date, after 3 months, for example, you want to delete this user, for example, or employee, you can. Okay.
So we can get very, very granular in relation to the compliance. As I say, this touches alongside Purview as well. And we have a team from a security perspective who just deal with that product. So the two are very closely integrated as products. I don't know, hopefully, Chloe, that's answered your question. I don't know if anybody else has any other questions at all about any of the items that Renee's discussed today. I'll just give it a quick refresh to see if there's anything else there from a question perspective. No, I don't think there is. So literally, I think it's just for us to thank everybody for attending today. And as I say that, one more question. We get our data out of CRM by scheduled reports that are emailed out. What would it look like to get data from an email inbox into OneLake? Would we need to use Power Automate to move the data set somewhere and then pick it up with a code from Notebook?
No, there is already a connector for Exchange Online where we can extract the inbox from directly from the inbox to Microsoft Fabric.
Okay. So this is a scenario, Chloe. I don't know what CRM you have. Pending the type of CRM that you have, there's various connectors or ways to integrate the data within the CRM. So we could choose specific fields that we could then remove, put into and upload to the data lake. That would be one option. But again, as Renee said, we can even take emails and upload emails from an inbox if you wanted to do that as well. So the whole aim of this is to take different sets of siloed data, put it into one central repository, cleanse that data, and then the output is obviously the reports and information and AI and governance all in one central location. So as Renee mentioned in his earlier slide, it's the discovery, first of all, to understand all of the data that the organisation has, who's responsible for that data, and then trying to collect that data as phase one. But again, I'm just going through, see if there's any more questions. I think that is everything. If anybody has any other questions outside of this, feel free. I'll leave my email details here, and you can ping me an email or a message if anyone's got any further or follow-up questions. But literally, it's just a case of saying thank you for everyone for joining today, and we will be picking another subject for next month, and we'll be running another webinar for the charity sector. So thank you, Renee, and thank you everybody for attending.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, everyone.